अभी माइक बंद हो गया लगता है.
And we are live.
Perfect.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. This is Zorays Khalid. I am here yet again with another episode of the program On the Set, in which we discuss about how the world would be after the Corona pandemic is over. Today with us is gracing. Today it's very auspicious to find one of an old colleagues and fellows um, who's who's made his name profoundly on the digital platforms and is here with us live from Australia. Without further ado, I'll introduce you to Mr. Waqas and leave the rostrum to him to tell us a little bit about himself and tell us about his personal experiences in the digital sphere.
Hi Zorays, thank you for having me on the show, buddy. Firstly, man, such a good initiative that you've taken here. I was looking through some of the others as well, and such smart and what I see that influential people are coming on and sharing their thoughts, hopefully helping others as well. So what I'm gonna do is that I am gonna tell about how I am reading the situation yet for Corona world, and what are some of the opportunities that I am looking at as well post Corona world. So before I'll tell that, just a little bit about myself. It's been about 3 years that I am invested in the digital space in a way that I've created businesses where I teach online, so those are educational content, as well as I have Instagram and YouTube where I share videos again on the educational space. Apart
Very
from that, I've been a tech investor for about 3 years as well. So there's a lot of this that has just, let's say, now reaching a climax. I was reading the signals for the last 3 years. So I hope that there would be some insights that how I'm reading the situation that will help your community as well.
Very right. Tell us about your day-to-day routine when it comes to social distancing yourself and staying in the quarantine. Uh, how do you?
It's been 3 weeks of social, let's say, quarantine. And the interesting thing is that although I've been working from home or from different parts of the world pretty much alone for the last 3 years, but I have never felt isolated. This is the first time, which is so interesting that I never even realized that when the world around you stops and everybody else goes home, then you actually feel like what is isolation. So it's a difficult time, man, in a way that that all the things that we were not preparing for as generally in the world, which was we were not taking our, let's say, mental health very seriously. And because my Instagram community is a lot of youth as well, and one of the most important questions that I get is when people are how to deal with depressions and anxieties, and I've been getting that for the last 2 years. The other thing we were not very particular about was our physical fitness. So I think for me now, this Corona time has given that big pause where previously, if I was playing sports, and I mean, you and I have played cricket like 12 years ago, but since now I used to play cricket as well, but my sports life was there, but I never actually taken my physical training in a structured manner that I'm training these days. Similarly, same for the mental health, that it has always been making all kinds of productivity calendars and trying to figure out how to stay productive. But now it's really like taking an hour out in a day and really going back into your head and seeing what the effects of meditation does to your head. But I am what I can say is that the first week, 2 weeks were quite uncertain around the world, where people just did not know what to do, how to do, and there was a lot of anxiety cases that risen as well. But Abhi, we are in the state where world is kind of accepted, and if somebody has not, I'll just tell it here that this is gonna go for 6 months at least.
All
This is
right.
what the Prime Minister of
Yes.
Australia has said.
To this question, so you perceive, much like any other guest speakers who'd been on the show, that it's going to take at least 6 months for us to recover. Can you just suggest a number, the increment in number of calls that you get, or maybe personal DMs that you get when it comes to addressing anxiety? So has the number increased very largely, or it's remained on a
Exactly.
certain?
Exactly. So it says, let's say if previously it used to be 10, 15 in a month, now it has reached 40, 50 a month. And especially the first week when it happened, it was so much that I actually went live on Instagram to do a one long session on anxiety management for everybody because I was not able to answer one on one. I think the best way to deal with anxiety, and that's why I said 6 months as well, because the same thing Australian Prime Minister said here, that we can actually tell you that we are extending lockdown by 2 weeks at a time, so people stay hopeful. Okay, just 2 weeks, just 2 weeks. Or we can tell you the truth that we are keeping the lockdown for 6 months. So just accept the reality and
Yes.
develop new ways of working and socializing. Keeping that in mind, this new ways you're developing for at least 6 months. So I just want to tell everybody around the world, especially in Pakistan as well, that the best way to take advantage of, let's say, this crisis time and spot the opportunities is to start from the fact that you are planning for 6 months of this economic time and social time.
Right.
And that actually helped in dealing with a lot of anxiety issues as well, because you accept it and then you move on.
All right. So much like anybody else who had been on the show, you say that एक इदराक होना चाहिए और एक्सेप्टेंस होनी चाहिए कि ये मसला है, और उसको आज से ही एड्रेस करना चाहिए, living the moment, and then we can resume the life further upon. So let's jump to the main question of today's talk, which is, how do we spot new opportunities, because the world is not going to be the same, is it? So how do we spot the opportunities which are lying around, and then to build on those particular opportunities within our grab, and maybe build up a personal brand for ourselves? How can we do that?
Right. The world is when people use the term that जब वापस खुल जाएगी दुनिया तो जब सब कुछ नॉर्मल हो जाएगा, अब द नॉर्मल इज चेंज्ड. सो जब हम कहते हैं कि जब उसके बाद सब कुछ वापस नॉर्मल हो जाएगा, वो नॉर्मल नहीं होगा, क्योंकि a lot of things have changed. And because I'm a student of world history and human behavior, I'll tell you a couple of reference points. So the closest to this time that we saw in the world history was World War II. And when I say that, because the economic condition and the healthcare system of World War II was exactly similar. Economy crashed and healthcare crisis happened. People started dying. So whatever technologies were developed in World War II, the biggest was computers. Computers were actually developed in World War II. Internet, communication, wireless communication. These are the technologies that were developed in World War II that then, since 50s all the way till 2000, let's say, came at the center of the world. World didn't go back to what it was before World War II. And the second reference point we have is the 2008 2009 crisis, financial crisis, where every system in the world, the stock prices went 500 rupees stock went to 1 rupee. That was the time of 2008-9. Financial system completely failed. There were no jobs. People were graduating, no jobs, nothing. So the world of the last decade, which was 2010 to 2020, was actually a world we saw carved in that financial crisis. Why? How? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Uber, Airbnb, Fiverr. All the references I've given, these are social platforms. Social platforms came out of that crisis because people felt the need to connect. Then sharing economy came, where Fiverr kind of platforms came, or freelancing communities where people were hiring other people who were not even qualified, let's say certified, or like not in a traditional job, but giving them context because they could not hire other people on full-time basis, on job basis. So Sara freelance community bani. Similarly, Airbnb and Uber, where people who are driving are giving lift to other people. People who have one room extra in their house are letting it out to other people to stay. These companies, Uber and Airbnb and their subsidiaries, are now bigger than the largest hotel chain in the world, the largest taxi companies in the world. Food delivery services are larger than any hotel chain in the world. The point is that the world we have seen of 2010 to 2020 was carved out of the when the institutions failed and people became social. Everything became shared economy. Now what has happened is we already have the shared economy in place because of this last decade. And now another crisis has happened where again financial crisis has happened and again the healthcare crisis has happened. Now we'll build onto this for the decade of 2020 to 2030. And that decade is gonna be a decade where work from home, working digitally, is as norm as it is to work from office. A lot of people think that, and this is true, like so many employees are like, I don't feel productive at home, I want to go back to office, and so are the bosses. But give them 3 to 6 months. When they'll start going to office, they'll be like, after 2 weeks in office, they'll be like, yeah, work from home hi behtar tha, I had my freedom, I could work. हाँ,
Yes,
तो अभी
exactly.
अभी लगता है 2-3 हफ्ते हुए हैं लॉकडाउन में, अभी लगता है यार ऑफिस ही जाना है, ऑफिस में ही काम होगा. ये human behavior, I've studied human behavior for the last hundreds of years. This is what is happening. You give them 2 to 3 months, they'll go back to office, and then within 2 weeks they'll be like, oh my god, work from home was better option. And now two things have happened.
Yes.
One is that humans are getting trained in a behavior way of working from home and studying from home. So everybody's using Google Classroom, schools are closed and all that stuff. Human behavior बदल रहा है और system set हो रहे हैं. And when I say system set हो रहे हैं, उसका मतलब कि schools ने पूरा पूरा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन, ऑनलाइन टेस्टिंग का, ऑनलाइन असाइनमेंट्स का. ऑफिस ने पूरा पूरा प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया ऑनलाइन मीटिंग्स का, वर्क ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस का, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट का. तो ये प्लेटफॉर्म भी बन रहे हैं इस टाइम में, पिछले 2-3 हफ्ते से, महीने से, आगे 2-4 महीने बनते रहेंगे और लोग का बिहेवियर चेंज हो रहा है. This is a perfect recipe of the decade of 2020 2030, that this is the new norm. You will attract best employees if you give them opportunities to work from home. If you're into education, you'll have the highest revenue if you provide digital education, so on and so forth.
So the
This
question is, I'd like to interrupt you over here. So the question is that since we both, and hopefully our audience also thinks that Corona is going to dictate the next decade or so, um, is it going to change the realms where people who work from home are now more lenient to become entrepreneurs themselves instead of working for others, because they will now be feeling कि यार अगर घर बैठ के मैं दूसरे ऑफिस जाने का मकसद तो यही होता है ना कि हमारे पास एक प्लेटफॉर्म है जिधर से हम रह के अपनी स्किल्स को पॉलिश करें और नौकरी करें किसी की. सो आपको लगता है कि तादाद जो उनसे एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की है वो अब बढ़ जाएगी जब से लोग अपने घरों से बैठ के काम कर रहे हैं, उनको नए आइडियाज आ रहे हैं, वो अपने पर्सनल स्किल डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं, इन प्लेटफॉर्म्स के अराउंड काम कर रहे हैं. सो आपने आइडेंटिफाई किया है कि जो वो अच्छा एम्प्लॉई है जो कि अब अपने आप को घर बैठ के इम्प्रोवाइज कर पा रहा है, क्या उसके ज़हन में ये ख्याल नहीं आएगा ज्यादा कि यार मैं किसी की नौकरी क्यों कर रहा हूँ, क्यों ना मैं आजकल डिजिटाइजेशन का दौर है, फ्रीलांसिंग का दौर है, क्यों ना मैं अपना कारोबार घर बैठ के काम शुरू करूं और फिर खुद ग्रो करूं. इसके बारे
बहुत
में आपका क्या?
बहुत ज्यादा ऐसा ही होगा आगे. To an extent that I've been looking at for the even last 2 years, that Pakistan has already reached a stage where the fresh grad salary is less attractive than any graduate who has developed, let's say, a freelance profile for a year or so. I know so many personally who are freelancing income is reaching 1 lakh or around that time, around that money number for a month, while the fresh grad salary, even from a good institution, is still hovering around 50,000, 70,000 rupees, and for most it's less than that. So that already economy change over here aapki. Now what has happened is that suddenly when you give reach a stage where people who are employed are going to get pay cuts. If hopefully one, a lot of people will lose their jobs, unfortunately. Even those who don't lose their job are going to get pay cuts, and pay cuts does not mean that pay will be back to normal the moment it ends. Then it's just that the alternative will start looking more attractive to employees as well. And lastly, all those fresh graduates, because jobs की availability खत्म हो जाएगी market में for the next 1 year, and as we know, uh, necessity is the mother of invention, ज़रूरत इजाद की माँ है, that a lot of people will forcefully be now becoming entrepreneurs, and that will include whether having digital services in Pakistan. Let's say on the top of my head, bakery को online bakeries बना लो, online restaurants बना लो, और platform जहाँ पे people can order online food from bakery or online phal fruit, yeah, well, there's like every all these things. And at the same time, people will start becoming what is today's world called personal brand, that they will start sharing their skills with other people, kind of what I do as well through my platform, that whatever you're good at. So let's, to give you an easy example, let's say if you are good in making videos, you know what the background should be, how to look in the camera, how to pace yourself in speaking, how to edit the video. ये जो पूरी फील्ड एक है, ये कोई भी घर बैठे जिसने कोई 100 वीडियोस बनाई है अपनी जिंदगी में, वो कर चुका होता है। कोई यूनिवर्सिटी डिग्री नहीं चाहिए इसके लिए। अब बिकॉज एवरी कंपनी would want to have their digital product, डिजिटल चैनल, चाहे फेसबुक वीडियोस हैं, चाहे इंस्टाग्राम है, चाहे यूट्यूब है, तो वो कंपनीज अब इन लोगों को हायर करने लगी हैं द मोमेंट वर्ल्ड स्टार्ट्स। एक्चुअली हायरिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है इस फील्ड में, बट द वंस वी गेट मोर टुवर्ड्स आउट ऑफ कोरोना टाइम, you will see that one of the highest job in demand will be people in the video space or content space. So there's a big opportunity here for people who are listening, and especially employees who want to do something on the side.
All right. So, Vikas, it's very well. Now the platform has built up. People have joined us. I would like to excuse all of our audience because you see everybody is having a lot of ideas and going making video streams. So this is one of the baddest times to go online, and we are facing many disruptions. However, since the content in itself is very lively, and we thank Waqas Hassan for giving us this chance to learn about his thoughts. We'd like you to stay and listen to the screen as the video connection seems to be coming in and out for a while. I'll try to improvise over here, and rest assured that the video is also being recorded, so we can post it afterwards as well. So the recorded session as well. So because this brings me to our next segment, which is
Okay, the connection kind of went bad, but I just found out that I am back to life. So I'm going to talk about personal branding a bit because that's where my last thoughts were. Personal branding is the space where you, as a person, starts adding value in whatever space you're good at. So, for I was giving the example of video. So, for example, you are the guy or a girl who has made few videos and now understands how to have the background right, how to speak in the camera right, how to structure your content well, how to edit the video, and you start teaching about making videos right on your Instagram or YouTube channel. Then because this is your personal brand, this is the person, this is what you're known for, this person is the man or the woman who teaches videos. Because this is one of those niches or these fields where all these big companies or small companies, SMEs or multinationals, they want to have people who can do this for them, who can make videos for them or for their advertisement campaigns or for their general day-to-day or week-to-week content. Then on contract basis, you who's teaching how to do video will be hired by these companies to do some video stuff for them. Similar for the programming languages, similar for any kind of graphic designing, copywriting, sales, WordPress management, customer relation management, whatever. Now the other side is, so this is the person where your personal brand start making you revenue or giving you contacts from the company side. The other side where the personal brands work is that when you target the audience directly that you're teaching and have premium products. So for example, if I'm teaching you how to develop a personal brand, which I'm teaching you through my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Waqas Hassan, and I'm teaching you in a very structured way in 30 days, 12 video lessons, how to develop your personal brand. And you use my content, and let's say thousands of people use my content and they develop their personal brand or have some journey. Then I have the further opportunity to provide them either group mentorship in, let's say, virtual environment, Skype group call, Zoom group call, or I can have them one-on-one mentorship sessions, or I can provide them some advanced level videos, let's say 12 extra videos for subscriptions. Now, if you have a personal brand in this space, then you can start directly turning it into a business by providing premium products or mentorship to the audience who are consuming your content. These are both the ends of a personal brand where you can start generating revenue. And because of this world, as we were talking before, where shared economy and digitalization build the foundation of 2020 to 2030. We are already very in the shared economy using all the social media platforms, and we are now becoming much more comfortable and digitally savvy. People who have never done group Skype calls or Zoom calls are now doing it on day-to-day basis. My doctor and I was doing via was telehealth, and telehealth was completely paid by insurance as well, by whatever our Australian permanent residency insurance is, which was never done before Corona. So this is a big example of how professions that have traditionally not worked on this video calling, this is the new norm. This is how people will start communicating and doing all the business meetings. Seminars will happen like this now. Over to you, Zorays. I think the connection
All
is
right.
back.
All right,
And
Vikas, it's
sorry, yeah.
जी तो वकास इसमें आपने काफी अच्छा बताया कि हाउ कंटेंट जनरेशन इज योर रियम और किस तरह people can join your course also as well because that's a really good prompt for us to imagine if we have a skill set. There is an ongoing 12-week session program by Vakas who can help you identify your personal brand. Right now we are showing his social media pages to the audience so they may regular and updated content that you can always follow through these various social media platforms. You can be rest assured that the content is so much valuable and Vikas has put so much heart into it that by the end of going through any of his personal coaching programs, uh, you will at least get to learn at least one thing new. Without further ado, let's wind up this session. Because any last messages for the audience, how to be positive, how to turn these concerns into opportunities, and और जब पता चल जाए कि ये मेरी काबिलियत है, उसके बाद एक्शन के ऊपर जरा मुझे चाहिए कि आप इसरार करें कि एक्ट किस तरह करना है, उसमें आप कॉल टू एक्शन जरूर देना चाहें हमारी ऑडियंस को.
Perfect. So yeah, last couple of thoughts on the same topics, same points that you just mentioned. Ek to, uh, most of the world is not going to take opportunity of this time because they're looking at crisis as crisis. That ye crisis hai, ab bas kisi tarah let's hope that we survive through this crisis. If it's part of your faith or just you want to cultivate it, understand that the fear of death is the uh, most handicapping kind of fear where you don't do anything. So just get out of it. You know that when the death will come, it will come. So now the crisis is there. What do? We make sure that the we prepare ourselves to take opportunities, because when everybody is moving towards one direction, which is 2019, itna kaam ho raha tha 2019 mein, it was so difficult to stand out. In 2020, 90%, 95% of the world is not doing anything. It's so easy to stand out. So the crisis is there. 90-95% of the world has frozen. You can, if you put in effort, the rewards will come at much faster than they come at any other time. And now for the other part, where how to stay consistent, this time more than ever requires routine, because I also realized and everybody realized that we all work through social pressure, although we don't accept it. But because of the social pressure of going to office at a certain time, otherwise my boss or my employees or my colleagues will, what will they think, or social pressure to going to the class, or social pressure to submit an assignment at a certain time, or social pressure to submit a certain project at a certain time, we worked through social pressure. The moment social pressure is going away from our life, again, it will now be much less than it was. The new world is going to be like this. So this is the time to understand, develop those routines that help you work without social pressures. And for me, that is self-induced pressure, which is that I announce beforehand that I'm going to be making 12 videos on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 4 weeks. And I only structured those 12 videos with headings, but I never shot them. I didn't even know what the content was. So the self-induced social pressure is now making me work in a very structured manner. So I'm doing the same things for everything, that I'm not stopping it. So guys, youtube.com/Waqas Hassan, WAQASHASSN. You're seeing one course is there, which is going on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then next month will be another course, next month will be another, and this is going to be one strong course that I would otherwise sell it for on my digital platform. I'm giving it away for free just because I think the receptivity in this time is much more than it is on the normal time. People want to use this way more, and people do not have extra cash to spend on these things, because of course you need it for the emergency fund, which is the right way to do it. So I think this is a more win-win situation where content creators like myself have just ramped up our capacity to produce more content and not charge amount for that. But in the bigger
Right.
scheme of things,
Yes. Your YouTube channel as well. It's very informative channel. Once again, I'd like to reiterate. Just one quick question before we end this session. Vikas, do you think the world is going to be flexible as we resume our routine lives? I do you think also that the peer pressure is going to be is going to increase, or maybe state people will be more far much more flexible in accommodating each other once they
uh,
resume their lives back?
I unfortunate. This is unfortunate, but I think peer pressure is just gonna keep increasing, because that peer pressure, although it is less in this time because not most people are not doing much, but once everybody starts working, when the economy starts working, peer pressure will come, and I'll tell you why. Especially because every few years we see a new rise of a social platform, and young people like 18 years old, 15 years old, 25 years old, they become famous, they start posting videos and stuff, then everybody else is like, oh my god, uh, I'm losing the game. So वहां से जो सोशल मीडिया से जो peer pressure बढ़ता है वो तो, because world is going even more social digitally, वो तो और तेजी से बढ़ने वाला है. जब आप स्कूल में होते थे हम लोग, तो आपका
जी
सोशल मीडिया था नहीं, आपके 5 दोस्त थे, सारे जिंदगी में एक ही काम कर रहे थे, ना कोई आगे था ना कोई पीछे था, कोई प्रेशर नहीं था. तो अब बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया हर एक के 500 दोस्त हैं, और ऑफ कोर्स पीपल हु यू विल probably never meet in your life, but you keep following for years on Facebook and Instagram, and you see what they're doing with their life, and that keeps building an unnecessary pressure.
Very right. So with this, on this note, the world is not going to be any promising unless we work the way for ourselves. Because it's been very nicely put that you have made the audience aware how to up boost their skills, or at least prepare their mindset that to the point that they can mm, they can step back into the world which is going to be for जो हमारे लिए आने वाले वक्त हैं उनके लिए हम अपने आप को तैयार कर सकें. आपका बहुत शुक्रिया इस शो पे आने के लिए, और थैंक यू सो मच वंस अगेन. एंड एज यू सेड, सोशल मीडिया से ये हजारों मीलों की दूरियां सिमट जाती हैं. आप उम्मीद करते हैं कि इंशाल्लाह ताला नेक्स्ट सेशन में भी आपको कभी दोबारा
Thank you
दावत
so
दें और
much.
आप.
You know, it was
थैंक यू.
such good talk, buddy. Thank you so much for having me on.
ठीक है, थैंक यू.